hurts.
Mm-hmm.
What's tiramisu?
I have no idea.
Oh my God! You're not gay!
You know that running gag where a character meets someone, instantly hits it off with them, and they start dating, only to find out later down the line that they're actually gay? Well, this is the opposite of that.
I'm getting married again.
What?
Oh, God, I don't know how to tell you this. I'm straight. Yeah, I know.
I don't understand. I don't understand. How can you be straight? I mean, you're so smart and funny, and you throw such great Academy Award parties. I know.
I specifically want to talk about the instances where a character is mistaken for being gay only to end up being straight. I think it's a pretty interesting subversion of the trope we're normally used to seeing, but actually underlying in the depictions are some interesting ideas about gender, masculinity, and sexuality, and I really like applying way more meaning into concepts than is necessary. So today I want to explore the mistaken for gay trope and how sometimes, while it may be funny, it can also be extremely revelatory in our very narrowed views on sexuality. Also, for the purposes of this video, we'll be focusing on male characters mistaken for being gay. When female characters are confused for being gay, it raises a litany of other questions. Thanks to Raycon for sponsoring this video. You know, moms work really hard. They're always on the go, juggling both work and family. So for this Mother's Day, consider getting your mom Raycon's everyday earbuds, because we all need an opportunity to just unwind and relax. Raycon's everyday buds offer premium quality at an affordable price. Raycon's newest model of earbuds are better than ever. They have a 32-hour battery life and multi-point connectivity that lets you pair with 2 devices at once. You'll never have to help your mom with connecting to Bluetooth ever again. Raycon also has a quick charge function. Just 10 minutes of charging will yield you 90 minutes of battery life. I really like using these earbuds at the gym. The noise cancellation feature is actually really great, and it helps you to really zone in on whatever you're doing. They also come with these new cool protective cases that have unique designs, and they also work with wireless charging. Go to buyraycon.com/Sean to get 20% off site-wide. Brought to you by Raycon. Thanks again to Raycon for sponsoring this video. Is it homophobic? So probably the first question many people might ask is it homophobic? And the answer to that is kinda. I guess it depends on the context. You know, ever since making these kinds of videos, I do sometimes get a lot of pushback because I think so many people decide on how they feel about a piece of media based on whether or not it are problematic. Like, pointing out that a joke may have had a racist, homophobic undertone does not mean that I am litigating your enjoyment of that show, especially if it's a show that was made more than 10 years ago. Yeah, there's a good chance that by our 2025 sensibilities, some things don't hold up. All of them are problematic to some degree, but I don't think that should be the sole decider of whether or not you continue to engage with a piece of media. I'm not saying you should stop watching these shows or that those shows are bad. Sometimes things just are what they are, and that's okay. So yeah, sometimes the implication made in these jokes are homophobic because the underlying idea is that gay men present a specific way.
The boyfriend that
Wait, you're gay?
Yeah, you sound surprised.
I don't know, you just don't present as gay.
Oh, so gays present?
No, that's not... What? I'm woke.
That gay men are easily identifiable by how they act, how they dress, and how they talk. So oftentimes when these characters are making assumptions about these characters' sexuality, they've already made up their minds about who they are based on superficial, mutable characteristics, instead of just asking them if they're straight. So even though I do sometimes think the joke is funny or find it interesting how they subvert a long-standing trope, the assumption can still sometimes reinforce harmful ideas and stereotypes about queer men. Not man enough. When we look at some of the characters that are mistaken for being gay, we notice a recurring pattern. Most of the time, the assumption of their sexuality is rooted in their failure to live up to a specific masculine ideal. These men are confused for being gay because they aren't manly enough.
Can you imagine how jealous that would make her? Where's Tobias? Oh, he's just sharing a romantic horseback ride with Michael Bluth, and they're dipping each other in... Oh, you didn't get any body chocolate.
I didn't mean with me. I hate to see you struggle like this. In fact, why don't you let me ask her for you?
Oh, Michael, you really are quite the Cupid, aren't you? I tell you, you can zing your arrow into my buttocks anytime.
Okay, you know what you do? You buy yourself a tape recorder, you just record yourself for a whole day. I think you're gonna be surprised at some...
In The Big Bang Theory, Raj's sexuality is constantly called into question.
Listen, there's something I want to talk to you about. I wasn't ready until now, but I think it's time.
It's finally happening. You're coming out of the closet, aren't you?
We love you and we accept your alternate lifestyle. Just keep it to yourself.
Because he has an appreciation for things normally closely associated with femininity.
There's a rumor back in New Delhi that you're, how shall we say, comfortable in a sari.
I'm not gay.
Really? The chocolate lava cake, the little soaps in the bathroom, and I'm sorry, but you're wearing more perfume than I am.
That's Unbreakable by Chloe and Lamar. And for your information, it's unisex.
Even though Raj is straight and has only been depicted to be interested in women, his prioritization of romantic love, his appreciation for women and things they find interesting, all call into question his sexuality.
I'm not gay. If anything, I'm metrosexual.
What's that?
It means I like women as well as their skincare products.
It's not enough that he's physically attracted to women. Because he acts a certain way, characters routinely confuse him for being gay.
Wait. You don't want to put a bite of that in your mouth without trying my homemade chantilly cream. Yeah, okay, that time I heard it.
Raj is unable to fit into the very narrowed ideal of masculinity, and his failure with being a man is synonymous with not being straight, which, depending on the context, is treated as a bad thing.
Sorry, Raj, it's girls' night out.
Maybe another time.
Okay.
Come on.
Girls' night, girls' night.
How does he not hear that?
Oftentimes, when Raj's friends, specifically Howard, calls into question his sexuality, they are framing the possibility of him being queer as an insult.
There's a new sports bar over on Colorado Avenue.
You're going to girls' night.
Yeah.
Well, you know they're making jewelry, right?
You think they came up with that? They were gonna drink beer and play darts.
What's up?
Not his testosterone levels.
Excuse me, I happen to be very comfortable with my masculinity.
How is that possible?
It's bad to be gay. At least in The Big Bang Theory, the joke is often mean-spirited. There are times where that joke, even though it relies heavily on stereotypes, does not come across mean-spirited. For example, in one episode of The Nanny, Fran meets a male nanny who she quickly bonded with and immediately assumed he was gay. Not necessarily because of any characteristics, but because of how well they were getting along. Because according to her, she would only be able to get along that well with a gay man.
I'll tell you, it is just so easy being with Kurt. I mean, I don't have to act like I give a damn about the Super Bowl. And wherever we go Dutch treat. Although that part I could live without. But on the upside, I can eat a side of beef in front of him and belch up a hoof.
So when she finds out that not only is he not gay, but that he's also attracted to her, it makes for an actually really funny comedic moment. The show never demonizes queerness or fearmongered the possibility of him being gay. It was simply one of those modern family-esque miscommunications. For Fran, her connection with him was a source of friendship. One example in Victorious is making fun of Robbie's failure to fit perfectly into a traditional masculine role. The joke isn't even that he's gay. The show takes it a step further to suggest that he's not even male.
But what about your bat mitzvah money?
First, it was a bar mitzvah. I am a boy.
Theoretically.
There are so many jokes in the show undermining Robbie's masculinity and his failure to be a man in the way that the other characters can.
Excuse me, sir. Officer.
What do you want?
Why have I been put on the girls' side of this prison? I'm clearly a boy.
Prove it.
I'll stay on the girls' side.
Robbie is a bit more sensitive and socially awkward than the other main male characters in the show, and his inability to perform a specific kind of masculinity is routinely made fun of. I also think that the only reason why the joke was not about him being gay was because it was a children's show, and in the late 2000s and early 10s, any depictions or indication of queerness was not acceptable in a children's program.
I already spent the last of my money on leather pants and male makeup.
I do think that if this was for a more adult audience, the joke would just be that people think he's gay.
Well, we have 2 guys in this cupcake. I think they should go for help.
2 guys?
You know what I mean.
I really don't.
It's also interesting how the failure to live up to a masculine ideal shows up in these shows, because that is the main purpose of the patriarchy and male domination, keeping men in line so they don't act in a way that disrupts the social order.
Even if it means me taking a chubby, I will suck it up.
Nothing wrong with that.
Oh, I've been in the film business for a while, but I just can't seem to get one in the can.
Out of context.
I wouldn't mind kissing that man between the cheeks, so to speak.
And he realizes there is something distinct about the way he speaks.
Tobias. You blowhard.
Being accused of being gay is one of the ways the patriarchal system keeps these men in line. If they are seen to be infringing or behaving deviant in any way, it has to be snuffed out, even at an early age.
You know what? It's fine. If you're okay with the Barbie thing, so am I. Give Daddy the Barbie. Okay? Give me the Barbie. Okay, how about, don't you want to play with a monster truck? No? Okay. Ooh, how about a dino soldier?
The gay straight man.
Oh, good. Yeah. Although, you know, he's a private guy. You know, I wish I could get him to open up a little bit, share some feelings. No, what is behind this strong, silent exterior? You know, they say that still waters run deep, and I want to swim in yours.
But take it a step too far, and the man undermines his own masculinity and becomes unattractive.
In 5th grade, I got in a fight. Well, it wasn't really a fight. Richard Dalrymple bit me on the nose, and I fell down. Still have a little scar right here. Can you see it?
Yeah, I see the scar. Listen. Oh my God! Still crying? Like a little girl. I know. This is all my fault. I wanted him to open up. But God, I didn't know that I was going to unleash this weepy, clingy, moist monster.
The qualities women admire in gay men have been irrevocably denigrated as gay qualities. Emotional maturity, sensitivity, style, and an appreciation for fine arts cannot of the sexes.
In Friends, Chandler learns that a lot of people assumed he was gay
when they first met him because he had a quality.
Do you want to date Saturday?
Yes, please.
Okay. He is cute. He's funny.
He's a he?
Well, yeah. Oh, God. I Good, Shelley. Okay, I'm just gonna go flush myself down the toilet now. Okay, bye-bye.
Even though it was never explicitly said, it seemed as if Chandler's brand of sarcasm and wit led people to think he was gay.
I mean, when I first met you, you know, I thought maybe, possibly, you might be.
You did?
Yeah, but then you spent Phoebe's entire birthday party talking to my press, so then I figured maybe not.
Huh, did, any of the rest of you guys think that when you first met me?
I did.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
What is it about?
I don't know. Because you're smart, you're funny.
Ross is smart and funny? Did you ever think that about him?
Yeah, right.
What is it?
Okay, I don't know. You have a quality.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
It's funny because it also kind of implies that straight men are dull and boring. I think another interesting aspect of this is how the straight men who are often mistaken for being gay are men who also struggle to form romantic connections with women. There's definitely a link between hypersexuality among men being seen as a manifestation of true masculinity. Real straight men not only get women, they get lots of women. If a man struggles to form romantic or sexual connections with women, either because of social anxiety or awkwardness, then their sexuality is called into question. It doesn't matter how willing they are to be with women or how attracted they are to women, the failure to couple with women in and of itself is seen as a signifier of homosexuality. That's also why straight men react very negatively to being thought of as gay, because it hurts their chances in the sexual market, which by extension undermines their masculinity. If sexual domination of women is the way in which men can realize true masculinity, any perceived hurdles need to be snuffed out. That is specifically why the way the Nanny handled this storyline was so interesting. The Nanny handled this topic in a way that I actually thought was really funny. Fran meets a male nanny who she immediately assumes is gay, and so does everyone else around him.
Niles, please, the man's gay.
Now, how do you know that? You barely spoke 2 words to each other.
Well, first of all, I was instantly attracted to him, which means he's definitely unavailable.
Similar to other examples, the reason she thought he was gay was because they had similar interests. He cared about the same things she cared about, and there was a shared camaraderie that they had. Fran felt at ease with him in a way that she didn't around straight men.
Oh, I'll tell you, it's just the story of my life. I mean, we can have such a beautiful future together. We both want the same things, except one. No, actually, we both want that thing, too.
Which made the whole revelation that he was actually straight all the more surprising for her. And that itself is one of the main connections between straight women and gay men. They both experience a similar form of oppression under white supremacist capitalist patriarchy, which is why gay men and straight women feel safe around each other.
Come out of the closet.
You go back into the closet. I cannot believe I told you what I do for yeast infections. I bought Correctol in front of you. Ah! You saw me without makeup on.
So the instances where straight men exploit that connection to take advantage of women become especially problematic. Gay masquerade. Like I said, another way the connection between straight women and gay men is exploited is when straight men pretend to be gay in order to make women feel safe around them. They prey on the fostered feelings of connection to endear women towards them for their own sexual gratification.
You think I'm gay? Why do you think I'm gay?
Oh, come on. You like the theater, you're good with decorating, and well, you're completely obsessed with your mother. Can you undo my hooks?
Tanya, I'm kind of having a dilemma here.
Oh, great. Franny! Can you spray me? My suit keeps riding up.
That's why I'm here, girlfriend.
It's not really about making these women feel safe or understood. It's a wholly individualistic pursuit to deceive women by masquerading as gay in order to satiate their own sexual needs.
Which do you think looks better? Right leg or left leg?
Can you do both?
Another way this masquerading as gay shows up is when straight men leverage social benefits by pretending to be gay. Sometimes straight men will go to great lengths to pretend to be gay in order to take advantage of legal systems. In I Now Pronounce You Chuck and Larry, 2 straight men pretend to be in a gay relationship so they can receive benefits.
He knows about our partnership, and he's just here checking up on us, making sure we're not running a scam to collect illegal benefits.
People do that? What is with the world? It just makes me so sad and gay to think of that kind of behavior.
All right, have a great day.
Oh, we will.
Nice
Take
seeing
care.
you.
Nice seeing you.
We love your pants, by the way. Very
You do.
nice.
Are those wrinkle-free? I think they are. They look great.
Snazzy.
They just... Oh!
No one's gonna find out about it.
No! Yes!
In 2.5 Men, Charlie and Alan pretend to be a gay couple in order to fit in with the crowd.
Charlie.
It's harmless. He throws a lot of work my way, and I want him to feel comfortable with me.
And how far do you go to make him feel comfortable?
So, how do you lovebirds meet?
Funny you should ask. We were at the Coffee Bean, you know, the one in Larchmont Village where the pastries are to die for. Anyway, we both ordered a soy latte, and when the first one came up, we both reached for it, and our hands touched.
At one point, Alan and Walden get legally married just so they would have a better chance of adopting a child.
And you guys and my mom, I got nobody. At least you got Jake. I want to have a kid of my own.
You are obviously more than qualified.
Thank you.
I'd start looking at golden retriever puppies because there's no way you're getting a baby. You're a single guy, and the system is really geared towards married couples.
Alan Harper, will you marry me?
So ultimately, I do at times find the subversion of finding out a character is actually straight funny. I think it's an interesting concept, but it definitely feeds into some harmful and aggressive ideas surrounding masculinity and sexuality. However, there are times where I do think that it can be done right. It just requires someone who has a little more tact in their approach. So that's it. Those are my thoughts. Let me know what you think about this down below. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.